Charlie turned off the living room light. What are you doing? His mother whined. Shh. He peeked around the net curtains. Apart from his wailing mother, it was silent. Do you think it's him? I asked, suddenly more than aware I was in a stranger's house with a potential rapist killer trying to get in. You're just like all the others with your crying. Why don't you find a nice woman, Charlie? I jumped when I heard thumps at the back door. Large bangs, as if someone was forcing all their weight onto it. Panicked, I got up and ran. Don't go upstairs, it's not safe. Charlie pleaded, stuck between stopping me or running to the back door. I took the stairs two at a time. On the landing there were three different doors. I went through the first one on the left and closed it behind me. There was a bed and someone slept. I'm sorry, I whispered. I sighed when they didn't wake. From downstairs I heard screaming, the old lady screaming for her son, then high-pitched crying and wailing, then silence. I stayed where I was, hiding in the corner behind the door. Then there were calm footsteps as someone ascended the stairs. I held my hand over my mouth, stifling my labored breaths. I heard doors open and close, knowing that mine was going to be next. I wasn't scared when the door opened. I was relieved. In that way you feel better when you are caught in hide and seek. The tension is broken. From where I was, hidden in the corner behind the door, I couldn't see the man when he riffled through the bed sheets. Dear God, he said to himself, I didn't do it on purpose. It must have bounced off my shoe. I watched as the door slowly returned to its previous position, revealing myself to the stranger who stood in the room. There you are, he said, his eyes wild with madness. You have to come with me. No, I demanded, slapping away his hand. He didn't look how I expected. His face was gaunt, his frame slender, the polar opposite to Charlie. That wasn't a suggestion. The man grasped my hand and heaved me up. I clawed and hit his arm as he dragged me out of the bedroom. Charlie, Charlie, the old woman screamed as we descended the stairs. What did you do? I demanded, but he wasn't listening. He pulled a set of keys out of his pocket and tried a few different ones as I pulled to get away, then stopped. Charlie's lifeless body stared back at me from the floor, his eyes still open and looking at me as if to say, Run. A trickle of blood painted his face. Behind him, his mother held onto his body and rocked it back and forth. Charlie, wake up. You have to stop the bad man. She looked into my eyes and her face contorted. You whore, just like all the others. Before I could react, I was yanked out of the house and into the street. I tried to scream, but the man held my mouth shut. You have to be silent if you want to live. Do you understand me? Petrified, I stood still. Do you understand me? I nodded unctuously. Good, get in the car. He threw me in the driver's side and pushed me over. I pulled on the passenger side handle, but it didn't give way. Stop it, he shouted. I'm trying to help. He accelerated away with anger and drove, his breathing hurried. You're a fucking idiot, you know that's right, he said, spittle landing on my arm. I'm not going to hurt you, fuck. His car revved and screamed as he negotiated the narrow street. After a few minutes he had calmed. Softly he asked, Why didn't you listen to me? Why did you hug him? He said you had a knife. He shook his head. I was trying to help you. It didn't feel like it. What did you do to Charlie? What I had to, he hit the steering wheel. I never thought I had it in me. Thank you. I think he's dying. We need to call for an ambulance. He rummaged around in his pockets. Are these your keys? He said and sniffed definitely. Stunned, I said yes. I found them on your friend. He must have taken them from you when he hugged you. I'm going to drive you back to campus. What's going on? He called security about you. I don't think he did. I'm part of the security team. I'd have heard it over the radio. What made you think he was going to do anything to me? We had a report of a girl being forced into a car by someone meeting his description, but luckily she got away. Why didn't you do something before? Why follow us out here? He didn't answer and continued to drive, contemplating what he was going to say next. He sighed. I was scared. I didn't think I could do it. Then I saw you get into his car and I knew I had to do something. Why didn't you phone the police? Are you happy I fucking saved you from a madman? Didn't you see what was in the bed? What? He shook his head again. We drove in silence until we pulled up to the university. Thank you, I said as I got out. I didn't mean it, but it felt the right thing to do. Think of this as karma, he shouted, then turned around and left. I didn't tell anyone about what happened. I don't know if I was ashamed that it was my fault. I was at breakfast with my parents when my father said, You need to be careful when you're out there, Sally. He was reading from the local newspaper. Sorry, I asked. Such a shame for prostitutes. They're called sex workers. Dad, sorry for sex workers, found dead in a house only a couple of miles away from here. Have they caught the man? My mother asked. Yes, he was found dead in the house. His mother said a man and woman killed him. I guess it was a sex worker and her pimp. Good for them, he said. You have got to look out for yourself. You never know what could happen. I didn't say a word. You're not a sex worker, are you, Sally? My mother asked. Dear God, no, I said, still thinking about the poor woman found in the house. Can I have a look? Dad handed me the paper. The man's face stared back at me, no longer the friendly man that helped me, but a somber photo, one from a previous conviction. Are you okay, Sally? My dad asked. That's the face of a killer. I needed to tell someone I trusted. I couldn't keep it to myself. I told my lifelong friend Jessica. She was in the same classes as me. We'd been drinking. After finishing our midterm exams, I told her everything. I told her of the man who pressed the knife into my back, although it wasn't a knife. I told her about Charlie and how he took me to his house. I told her about the tea. That's when it hit me. It was almost certainly drugged. If it wasn't for the man who saved me, I may have not been here to tell her the story. After the holidays, we were on campus. It was staying lighter for longer as summer approached. Jessica and I were walking to my car and I saw the man that helped me. That's him, I said. He's the one who saved me. Go talk to him, she said. I can't. He looks cute. Let me do it. Please don't. Too late. She jogged over the road and began talking to him. I ran around the faculty building, feeling my embarrassment grow. When I peeked out, I saw them walking arm in arm. Jessica always had a way with words, and I guess her face and figure helped too. I waited for her to phone later in the evening, but she didn't. I guess she got lucky. In the morning, I tried again. Her mother answered. Is Jessica there? No, she didn't come home last night. Is that Sally? Yeah, she said she was going to stay with you. That was the plan, but she met someone. Oh, anyone you know? I thought about it for a moment. My mind flashed back to the sharp instrument placed against my back. No, I said, can you tell her to phone me when she gets in? I will do. I spoke to Jessica's mom most mornings until the call became less and less frequent until they stopped altogether. He saved me. He wouldn't do anything to her. They just ran off together happily ever after. That's what I tell myself, happily ever after.